wild desire. I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Went down, 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 and the flames went higher. It burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire. The ring of fire. Wow. Most of the times when I think of rings of fire, it's usually after eating a ton of hot wings, if you catch my drift.
Or eating a certain fast food restaurant.
Taco Bell.
Oh, okay, Taco Bell.
Shout out, but when you eat that fire sauce, it's the ring of fire sauce, if you know what I'm saying. But anyways, this isn't a podcast about spicy foods, unless we've changed all of a sudden.
We haven't. Last I checked.
That's right, this is not spicy foods and rhythms. This is American Brews and Tunes.
Yes.
Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American Brews and Tunes. Shibbity-beeby-dow!
Wow, thanks again for joining us for another episode of American Brews and Tunes.
Yes, thank you all so much.
This is another fun episode.
Sure
it's
is.
another one of our repeat episodes, which means that for numbers that repeat, such as 11, 22, 33,
44.
and of course what we're at right now, episode 44, we review albums from bands that we've already reviewed.
Yes.
So I recommended an album for you from a band that you've already reviewed one of their albums.
Yes.
What band
And
is that,
now
you might ask?
this is-
A Lagwagon. One of the great staples in skate punk music, if you ask me,
yeah.
or pretty much anyone.
Yeah, or pretty much anyone else, right?
The original album that you had reviewed was Haas by
Yes,
Lagwagon.
yeah.
That was pretty early on in our podcast career, if I do say so myself.
It was. It was fairly early on, yeah.
And what in the world did you recommend for me to listen to?
I recommended the album called The Bends by the band called OK Computer. I mean...
What album did you recommend for me again?
Funny, you might ask that, Steve. I recommended the album The Bends by the band Radiohead.
And if I do remember correctly, there was an album called OK Computer that I also listened to, also early on in our podcast career.
Yes, you did, yeah.
And I liked OK Computer quite a bit.
Yeah.
So much that I bought a CD of it.
Wow, really?
And I like to keep it close.
Do you?
Ho ho.
Like to keep it close with you in your car?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, it really is.
But it's always fun to revisit bands that we've already reviewed.
Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting to see if they're the same or if they're different.
Yeah, because, it's all about... This whole podcast is part of the podcast is all about expanding musical horizons.
Yeah.
And so you can also expand your horizon within a band as well.
But how can you expand when there's no light on the horizon? You too have to decide.
Oh
This is not just a musical podcast. This is also a beer podcast.
It sure is.
Am
yeah.
I right? You're right.
You are.
Thanks.
What's going on?
Anyways, for those of you who are unfamiliar with our podcast, not only do we recommend albums recommended by the other, but we also try brand new beers.
Yeah, beers that we've never ever tried before. So
That's
always a good time.
What are you going to review this episode, Jesse?
The beer that I'm trying is from a brewery called Brewdog, born in Scotland, brewed in the USA.
What's the beer?
It is called Juggernaut, and it is an Imperial IPA.
Curious. No, I know we have had one Brewdog beer on this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I did. It was the Elvis
yeah.
juice.
Yeah.
And that one wasn't bad. A little grapefruity. Not my favorite, but I know that I have had their New England style IPA, the Hazy Jane, and I quite liked it.
Yeah. I'm excited to try this.
Because there's not too much beers you think from Scotland other than we had the Innocent Gun.
Yeah. Innocent Gun, yeah.
But, it's Scotland. What do you think? Scotch, not beer.
Right.
Yeah.
But, lo and behold.
Brewdog. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so you'll be having that, and what I'll be having is a beer that you are more familiar with than I am.
Yeah!
The brewery is Surly.
Yeah!
I thought you were going to say that after after the Surly was more appropriate than before Surly. But you can say yeah anytime you want. Podcast is yours just as much as it's mine. Just don't say it after we say something like really sad.
Yeah.
Like they canceled
What's a really good TV show right now? Let's just say this is fourth season of The Office right now. It's happening live.
Oh, shoot.
And they're like, they canceled The Office. And you're like, yeah! That's not a time to say yeah. That's a time to say, are you guys ding-dongs? You got to create a couple more seasons, let the show get a little worse, and then end.
Yeah, and then end it.
But yes.
Don't end on a high note, is what you're saying. And don't yeah on a low note.
Don't yeah on a low note, but you can end on a high note. Breaking Bad. It was great. Remember that? Oh, you don't remember. You didn't finish that.
No, I haven't finished it yet.
You got to finish Breaking Bad. They ended on a high note, and it was so good.
Was it?
Yeah, it was the bomb.
I'll have to watch it at some point.
It's on Netflix, and if by chance they take it off of Netflix, I have the entire series on DVD.
That's where I watched it last time.
It's very available to all of us readily. But back to the beer. Like I said, I'm having a beer from Surly. And listeners, why might Jesse be getting excited about this? It's from Minneapolis, correct? Or is it St. Paul?
It's from Brooklyn Park, I believe.
Where is that closer
Which is
to?
in Minneapolis.
Okay, so it's in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So it's birthplace of Jesse, birthplace of Surly.
Yep.
So it's a good brewery. I've had a couple beers from them, and they only recently opened up distribution in Nashville.
Yeah, which is awesome.
It is awesome. The only time I'd actually had them before was in Chicago or when you had brought the beers back.
Yes, yep.
This is a beer I have not had from them. It's called Overrated!
Yep.
Exclamation
It's
point.
their West Coast style IPA.
You are correct. It says West Coast style IPA. And right here, it's got a #1 medal on it. I'm not really sure what that means because it doesn't say anything. Did this win an award?
No, I think read the back.
All right, here's what it says on the back. What's with the hype? ? It's been said it's easier to brew an extremely hoppy beer than an extremely balanced beer. Side note, that is true. That's why it's we've said it before on the podcast, especially with our interview with Hollow Point.
Yeah.
That it's much more easy to make an IPA than it is to make a very good lager.
Yeah.
Back to what they're saying. And you know us, we're always looking for the easy way out, so we jumped on the West Coast style IPA bandwagon and brewed this dry and hoppy ale. Quotation mark, Surly's a little bit of a one-trick pony. They only brew gimmick beers, end quote. And maybe we are overrated, but at the end of the day, it's just a beer. If you like it, great. So do we. And if you only liked us when we were small, then leave this one to the shelf. Let one of the fanboys grab it.
So I think they're kind of being sarcastic in there.
I think so too. That's pretty funny. Saying West Coast styles are overrated. Let's do it.
Yeah.
If you like it, good. If not, don't have it.
Yeah.
I like that mentality.
Yeah.
You do you. You do you, Jim from Fargo.
From Fargo, North Dakota.
Anyways, we talked about these beers enough. Let's say
let's give them a crickety crack and
pour them in the glasses and see what they look like. Now, I'm curious to see if the colors of our beers are similar because mine just says West Coast. It doesn't say it's a double IPA or anything.
I don't think they're going to be the same color.
Because yours is Imperial. I would imagine that yours would be a little darker. Now, neither of us have a New England style or a hazy IPA, so they shouldn't be cloudy. They should be pretty see-through.
Of course, I'm not using the best glass for this.
Yeah, Jesse is using his Flying Saucer Elvis glass, and it's white. You can't see through it. I, however, am using my Game of Thrones glass, and it is quite see-through.
Oh,
it's actually
pretty good.
A little darker than I anticipated.
Yeah.
It's
kind of more like a dark hay color.
Yeah, dark hay. It's a little more cloudy than I thought, but I wouldn't call it hazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Because we know what hazy looks like, and that is
definitely not that.
What do you think about your color, if you can see anything in there?
Well, right now, all I see is the head of the beer.
Yeah. Well, once Jesse
once we try it, I'll see what the color looks like then. So, as we always do on American Brews and Tunes.
What about scents?
What?
Let's get a little sniff action.
Oh. What? Little sniff action?
Yeah. Go smell the beer.
Okay. All right. Before we cheers, I'm going to get a little sniff ski here.
It's hard to get a smell off of my beer. I don't know if it's because I have a poor sense of smell, but it smells...
I think I can't
really
get a smell because my nose is stuffed up.
It's allergy season here in Nashville. Pretty heavy. I'm getting like it smells like an IPA. Yeah. It's nothing's like sticking out other than what I would expect. But it's good.
From what I can smell, I like it.
Yeah. As we always do on American Brews and Tunes, did you dip your nose in the foam?
Yeah, I tried to get a good smell, but I went too far.
Well, as long as you don't suck foam up your nose, that's okay. Then you have a problem. As we always do on American Brews and Tunes, we're going to give the magic slogan and try our brewskis.
All right, sounds
So
good.
if you're partaking out there, why don't you join us? We'll count it off so that we don't catch you off guard.
Okay.
1. Well, and if you don't know the word, it's shibbity beepoo dow. On the
Yep.
count of 3, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then say the word.
Okay, so after 3.
1, 2, 3. Shibbity beepoo dow. This is quite nice.
Wow.
Mine isn't anything that stands out as far as like a different.
Yeah.
Like trying to be unique, like by adding fruit or by adding a strange amount of a certain type of hops, but it's a really solid West Coast style IPA.
Yeah.
It's got that dry, really kind of in your face bitterness.
Yep.
It's not like pungently fruity, but it's solid. It's really good. It's got a nice like malt body, but it's not fruity. I wouldn't say a fruity IPA. It's a slight citrusy, not from the hops, but not a fruity citrusy.
Yeah.
It's really good, really solid. And I would not say overrated. I say very good, even though it literally is the overrated.
Yep.
What about yours?
Mine's pretty tasty as well. It kind of has like a really nice fruity flavor at the beginning, and then it kind of, I guess the flavors kind of come in waves. Like there's the fruity kind of sweet flavor, and then like a really nice kind of like sharp pine bitterness.
So what you're saying is, and the flavors come in waves. Ooh.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
If that doesn't make any sense.
Flavors come in waves.
For those of you who don't know what that is, that's a callback to one of our first 5 episodes where I reviewed The Hazards of Love by the Decemberists.
Yep.
And that's the moment on that album for me. If you haven't checked it out, listen to The Hazards of Love by the Decemberists.
Yeah, it's a great
Do
album.
yourself a solid.
Do you want to do a little switch-screwski?
A switch ski.
Switch-ski.
Or a switcherooski. You decide. Whip, whip, swip, swip. We switched, and we're going to try each other's beers to see what we think. I see exactly what you mean. I actually think yours is a little smoother.
Yeah.
I do get the fruitiness up front, and it's
That's
just
nice.
It's much more mild on the hops. And yours is an imperial, so I think it's a little bit more boozy, but I cannot tell based on the flavor. of yours.
I think yours is 7 point something or other, and mine's
yours
like
is
8 point something.
Yeah. I can't tell. Yours actually tastes less boozy than mine. I think yours is very good, but they're both very different style IPAs.
Definitely very different styles. Mine is like, for some reason, mine tastes more creamy than yours, and I think that's probably just because of the sweetness up front.
Agreed.
And then, but yours has like the aftertaste is like a really nice piney hop.
Agreed.
So I'd say overall, both these beers are pretty darn good.
I'm very pleased with both of them. I'm gonna have to keep a lookout for that Juggernaut.
The Juggernaut.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Deadpool? I don't want to say that the Juggernaut makes an appearance, but he makes an appearance.
Okay.
Doesn't give anything away, but it kind of...
Okay.
Well, it really doesn't.
For those of you who don't know, which is probably all of you, Steve is really bad at giving away things, like spoilers to movies or books or anything like that.
And we shouldn't give away the spoilers that I've ruined for you.
Yeah.
Because I made that mistake. I ruined the last Harry Potter for Jesse.
Yep.
Because he was reading it, and in my mind I was like, I've read the book 3 times. Surely he's already read it and knows what's going to happen.
And I had not read it. I was halfway through it. And for all of you who know what happens at the end, that's what Steve ruined for me. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't read the book or seen the movies.
All I can say is, sorry.
Yep. Anyway,
let's go to the music.
Yeah,
like we always do. If the beer changes flavor as it warms up, we'll let you know. Otherwise, we'll keep on checking with the music.
I think we'll probably have a mid-intermission check-in with the beers.
All right, after I finish this review, how about we check in?
We'll do that.
I'm going to go first because I believe you went first last time.
I think so,
We'll do a little switch ski. So I will be reviewing The Bends by Radiohead. This is their second album and it was released in 1995. If you remember, I reviewed OK Computer, and that was their third album released in 1997, so this was right before that. Mm-hmm. Now, Radiohead's first album was called Pablo Honey. Is that correct?
I think that's what it's called.
Pablo Honey, a few years before the Bends, and that had their hit song Creep.
Yeah.
You've probably heard it before. It's a huge song in the 90s. Very grungy. It's super grungy.
What the hell am I doing here?
The whole album is pretty grungy.
I don't belong here.
I haven't listened to the whole album through, but I sampled quite a few of the songs.
Yeah.
Very grungy album.
Yeah.
Super 90s sounding.
Yep.
As you know from our review of OK Computer is not grungy at all.
Nope.
It's spacey, eclectic. It's got intricate arrangements.
Yep.
Not at all what you'd expect from the band that wrote Creep.
So if those two were the first and the third, and this
the
was
Benz
the
is the second, this serves as what I would say is the most perfect transition between albums.
Yeah,
I
would
think
agree. That makes sense.
What you would expect to come between those albums is this. So it's natural.
Yeah.
So shall I dive in?
Let me think about it for a second.
No, I
Yes.
shouldn't dive in because I have to explain the title first.
You also
the
shouldn't,
Benz.
You also shouldn't dive in because
The Benz.
Oh, the Benz. Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what the Benz literally is?
Like when you're bending a straw.
No, the Benz is technically referred to as pressure sickness, I believe.
Yeah, pressure sickness. Yeah.
And divers get this a lot. It's when you're moving from different elements of high to low pressure, like if you're
In the
diving
water.
deep or going up. And it can happen on airplanes or if you're mountain climbing as well. If you don't give yourself enough time to adjust,
Your body.
bubbles will form.
In your body.
Yes, in your body. It can happen in the blood or in the tissue or in all kinds of different areas, and it's not good.
So you can start looking like flubber.
Yes. Not really. You won't look like flubber. You'll probably just like have a headache. That's like the most common thing.
yeah.
But you can get bubbles in your blood and get sick and die if it's really bad.
Your eyes can explode.
I don't know about that, but maybe. Anyways, I think the reason they chose this is because there was a lot of pressure for them to have a great follow-up to Creep.
I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've got a lot of pressure to live up to that or pressure to move away from that, depending on what they want, because that's not the sound they wanted. So there's room for interpretation, but I think it's definitely intentional to call it the Benz.
Interesting. That makes sense.
Let's dive into the first track. It's called Planet Telex. I read that it was originally supposed to be called Planet Xerox, but they couldn't use that because Xerox
really?
is copyright or is trademarked or whatever,
Yeah,
trade named. I gave this 4.5, and it's an honorable mention.
Good song.
I think it's a great opener. It automatically says not grunge.
Yep. It automatically says that. Yeah.
With it's very much what I would expect almost to be on OK Computer.
Yeah, it's spacey,
The drums kind of have a pattern. I don't think they're looped, but it's like the same drumming pattern almost the whole way through. It's just a really good start to the album, and I really like this song.
Yeah. I agree.
Other than that, I'm not going to say too much about it because I'm not really sure what he means in the song.
Yeah.
Like I said before, Thom Yorke,
Tom Yorkie.
as I call him, as most other people call him, Tom York,
Yep.
is a very poetic, abstract writer.
Yeah, I'd say so.
He writes. It's almost hard to decipher what he's saying. Some songs are more straightforward than the others. This one is a little bit more difficult for me to decipher. Having said that, I'll move on. The second song is the title track.
Yes.
The Benz.
The Benz.
I gave this 4 out of 5.
Nice.
And I think it's a lot more rocky and a lot more grunge tinged than the first song. Which, what do you expect? Their last album was complete grunge, yo. Thematically, the song's about not having many real friends. I think it's about being successful and not being able to tell who like your real friends are anymore.
Interesting.
Like if you are playing club shows, like small venues, just being a touring band, all of a sudden you're huge.
Yeah.
And all those people are like hitting you up, like, I'm your best friend.
Hey, what's up, Tom York?
What's up, Thom Yorke? I'm your best friend.
Hey, how's it going, Tom?
Yeah. So I think that's
That
trying
makes
to
sense.
decipher that because when the pressure happens, the Benz, who can hang and who's real.
Yeah. That's a good. I think that makes sense to me.
And it's a catchy song.
Yeah.
Moving on to the third song, which is called High and Dry. It's one of the singles that they put on the album. I get 5 out of 5, and I recommend it.
Nice.
I think it's my favorite song on the album. I'm just
Really?
going to throw it out there.
Okay.
It's one of the 2 songs that I knew before I listened to this album.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't know that this was Radiohead.
Really?
I heard, I was like, I know this song. This is Radiohead?
Yeah.
So I have heard this before. And
Funny.
that chorus, like the verses are really good. Like every time the verses happen, I'm like, oh, nice. But the chorus is so good.
Yeah.
Don't leave me high. Don't leave me dry. He's got his transfer from full voice to falsetto.
Yeah, falsetto is
very good.
seamless.
Very good. Not very many people do that, but he does it very well.
A lot of people argue that Thom Yorke has one of the best voices ever.
It's a great voice. If I'm gonna go based on like a singer who can transition from full voice to falsetto, I'm gonna go on a slightly biased and time-tested. Not to say that Tom York's voice isn't time-tested, but I'm gonna go Brian Wilson, Beach Boys.
Okay.
Because his voice in their early days was so good and seamless.
Yeah, very true.
But Tom York is phenomenal. Even as far as like the mainstream today, Justin Timberlake can do it super well.
Yeah, that's very true.
But Tom York is phenomenal as a singer. Anyways, back to High and Dry. What do you think it means? I don't even know. Like someone leaving him out. Like
maybe it's in the
someone
same
abandoning
type of
him?
thing that you were talking about in the last song.
Could be. I wouldn't be surprised. Tom York, and I'm going to give you a direct quote about what he said about this song, right?
Okay.
He does not like it, I can tell you that.
Really?
He says, "It's not bad. It's very bad."
Really?
Yes.
I think he said the same thing about Creep.
Yeah, they don't like Creep.
They don't like
I don't know if they
Creep.
play it anymore, but I don't think they
might.
want to play it. They should play this and Creep because music technically is a business. When people show up to your concert, you want to.
Technically, yeah.
They're paying. You should. It's a courtesy to play the big songs. I think always.
Yeah.
I would hope that, but if they don't, it's their choice, I guess. I would,
Yeah.
if I went and saw them and they didn't play this or Creep, I'd be disappointed, but I'm sure I would still enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's funny.
it's true. I like this song, and to me, my opinion, like I said, to me,
Yeah.
my opinion matters more than the creator. I'm not saying to everyone else. I'm just saying to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I'm listening, what I think of the song matters more than what the creator's going to say about the song. It might influence me, but
Yeah.
my opinion's going to persuade me more than anyone else.
I gotcha.
Anyhow, moving on to number 4, Fake Plastic Trees. I gave this 4.5 out of 5 and an honorable mention.
Wow.
I
Another
honorably
honorable
mentioned like
mention.
3 or 4 songs. I couldn't.
Did you really?
I couldn't not do it. It's a really good album. This is the other song I knew before listening to the album.
Yep.
Super catchy, and the message is great. And it's also got a lot more falsetto.
Yep.
The song's about like commercialism or consumerism or capitalism or maybe all of them together.
Materialism.
And how it affects us. Like he talks about the very like the first stanza is about like a fake plastic watering can for a fake plant with fake earth
Yeah.
that you bought from a fake store or whatever. But later on, he's talking about a girl. And he says she looks like the real thing, tastes like the real thing. But he talks about his fake plastic love. So he's been affected by the materialism or consumerism
Yeah.
in his love. So it's really cool.
That's one of the best parts of the song too. He's like, and when he goes more full voice and he's like,
She looks like the real thing. I love that part because he does earlier in the song during that line, like melodically, he goes up falsetto, but on that last verse, full voice.
Yeah.
Great choice. Moving on to track number 5, which is called Bones. Unlike the last 2 songs, this one picks up speed because we need it. 2 slow songs, you got to get back up to speed.
We need it, bro.
The album was sequenced very well in this respect.
Yeah.
And I'll show that later. This song's about, rating-wise, I give it 4 out of 5. This song's about growing up and getting weaker, like physically. It talks about when you've got to feel it in your bones. Like he talks about, like, I don't know, just getting weak in your body. But when he says, when you've got to feel it in your bones, I didn't know that was what he literally said. And it's hard to understand him sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it is, yeah.
This is what I thought he said until I looked up the lyrics. We got to feel like alien bones. I was like, curious. That's pretty cryptic. I wonder what he means.
We got to feel like alien bones. Ooh.
Listen to it and see if you hear that sometime.
Okay.
I've got another good misheard lyric for the next song too.
Okay.
Which the next song is number 6, Nice Dream. I gave it 4.5 out of 5. And I honorably mentioned it again.
You're liking all the slow songs.
This is a great song.
I know,
It's
I agree.
more positive sounding lyrically during the verse. Like he talks about people liking him and like being nice. But then when he gets to the chorus, he alludes that as being a dream by
It's a
saying
nice dream.
Like arrangement wise, melodically, and the feel of the song sounds like a dream or like a lullaby. It feels like it's lulling you in a dream.
It's very ethereal and very. I was about to say aromatic, but that's
Aromatic. That's not. You're right.
Ethereal and
dreamy.
Spacey
and dreamy.
Dreamy, yeah.
But here's what I misheard. During the chorus, he says, nice dream, but I thought he said, my strength.
My strength?
Listen to it again and see if you hear that.
I always heard, nice dream.
Listen to it again and see if you can hear my strength.
Well, if I'm thinking about...
Don't
think
my
I have
strength.
to think about it being my strength, then I'm going to hear my strength, probably.
Well, maybe, but you'll be able to hear why I heard it. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Moving on to track number 7. This is called Just. I gave it 5 out of 5, and I recommended it. This is the grungiest song on the album.
Yeah, for sure.
This song could have been on their debut record, perhaps. Perhaps not. Who knows?
Maybe it was supposed to be, and then they waited.
Maybe not. The verses I don't think are as grungy as the chorus. But the chorus is like a rager of a grunge song.
It's pretty awesome.
Super heavy guitars. The message is much more straightforward than some of the slower, more cryptic songs.
Mm-hmm.
The song's about self-loathing, alienation, and depression,
Yeah.
which sounds like Creep. Like it's the same.
I think the song's better than Creep, but
I actually do too. I like Creep, but I like this song better. But in that like depression and alienation, it's all because there's no one else to blame but you. You did it to yourself. And that's what the chorus is.
yourself.
You do.
And that's why it really hurts, because you do it to yourself. Just you.
It's a good song. I like it a lot. And if you're ever if you're ever feeling angsty or whatever, just put on this song. You can go, yeah! You could jump around your bedroom and like punch the air.
Yeah.
I was gonna say punch the wall, but you don't want to punch the wall.
No,
you gotta fix
you don't
that.
want to actually ruin
Just
your
like
wall.
air punch it up.
Air punch it up.
Air punching doesn't hurt anyone else or the house. You might like hurt your arm.
You might hurt your arm for
Or your back.
overextending or something like that.
But yeah, don't punch the wall. Don't punch a door. Don't just punch the air.
Don't punch
a pillow.
Don't punch your dog.
Well, dogs. I was talking about like inanimate objects, and you brought a dog into the conversation.
Don't punch your TV.
Don't punch anything else. Just punch the air. How about that? Air punch.
Listen, if you're gonna punch something, punch yourself. Because you do it to yourself. Just you.
Gosh. Don't punch yourself. That would hurt. But that's a good tie into the song. Let's move on to track number 8, which is called My Iron Lung. I gave this 4 out of 5. I almost honorably mentioned it.
Okay.
This song's really good. Do you know what it's about?
No.
It's a reference to Creep.
Oh, really?
Wait till you hear this. Like, do you know most of the lyrics?
I think so.
And do you know what an iron lung is?
It's like a huge machine.
It's a huge machine that helps people breathe who have like ailments that.
So they're relating Creep to being their iron lung?
Yeah, but why?
Because it
kept their career alive.
Yeah.
But they're tethered to it and can't move on.
Tethered to it. Yeah.
Interesting analogy, isn't it?
Yeah, interesting.
And they've got that line. They're grateful for their iron lung.
Yeah.
So they're happy for it, but they can't grow or move away from it. Yeah, it's a really, really cool analogy.
Interesting.
I think whoever came up with that analogy, probably Tom York, it's pretty spot on for what they're feeling.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I think the last line in the last verse is really, really cool. It's the one where he says, This is our new song, just like the last one, a total waste of time, my iron lung. So he's like comparing like all their new songs to Creep.
Jeez.
And saying it's a waste of time because I've got the iron lung here.
Wow. That's so crazy.
Pretty cool, huh? They're good. He's a good writer.
Yeah.
He's a very good writer.
Yeah.
Let's move on, shall we?
We shall.
Track number 9, which is called Bulletproof... I wish I was. I gave it 5 out of 5, and it's my last recommendation.
All the spacey slow songs.
Except for Just.
Except for Just, yeah.
This song is really good, and it's much more toned back, especially compared to the last song, Just. Very soft, very spacey. And again, this is like something you might hear off of OK Computer. Like, you could maybe relate it to Paranoid Alien, or whatever that song's called.
Paranoid Android.
Paranoid Android. Or what's that one song? No counties and no surprises?
No surprises, yeah.
Maybe a little bit like to those two, the chorus of this song. Maybe a little bit.
A little bit, I could see that.
Not like melodically, but the feel, I'd say.
Yeah.
The song is about like seeming to be like hurt. I'm assuming emotionally, because I don't think it would be physically, but being hurt emotionally by something or someone, and wishing he was able to not let it affect him, like be bulletproof. I wish I was bulletproof. I wish these things didn't hurt me. I wish they didn't affect me, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But that chorus is so good. Like the verse is super like melancholy. It's like not happy sounding.
Yeah.
But that chorus, it almost has like a positive sound, but he sounds like emotionally drained at the same time. It's like positive and longing. It's a weird, but it's just really, really cool, catchy chorus.
Yeah, for sure. I probably also would have recommended that song. And there's that guitar part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very good arrangement.
Yep.
and I don't know if we talked about him on the last episode with Radiohead, but one of their guitar players is named Johnny Greenwood.
Yep.
And he is a phenomenal arranger, producer, what have you. Aside from Radiohead, he has composed the scores for like 4 Paul Thomas Anderson movies. Like There Will Be Blood, Inherent Vice.
Yeah.
What was the most recent one?
Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread, and there's one more in there that I'm forgetting.
I can't punch.
Drunk Love. It might have been that.
Was that Paul Thomas Anderson?
Yeah, it might have been that. I can't remember. But either way, he's a really, really good composer. Like,
Yeah.
Go look up the score for Phantom Thread or the score for what's the oil movie? I just said it.
I don't remember now.
Daniel Day-Lewis, like I'm an honest
There
man.
Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
Look up the score for There Will Be Blood. It's phenomenal. He's a great writer. And he's a guitar player for Radiohead.
Very talented, yeah.
So back to this album, we'll move on to track number 10, which is Black Star. I gave it 4.5 out of 5, and it's my last honorable mention. The album's too good, I couldn't pick, man.
Blame it on a black star.
What do you think sets this song apart from every other song, in your opinion?
What do
There's
you mean?
There's one thing I'm looking for, but I want to see if you would pick it up.
That sets it apart?
Yeah, there's one unique factor to this song, I think. Just a small thing early on.
Oh, I don't know.
It fades in.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember? It starts off, they're already playing, the volume builds and builds.
Yeah.
Which is weird. That's a weird choice. I think
I
there's
suppose.
a reason. I don't
obviously
know
it's
why.
intentional, yeah.
Yeah, it's not by accident, but I don't know why. Maybe to give you something to give you anxiety or think about. I don't know, because this song is about like being in a relationship with someone who's got like a serious depression or in a problem, and like not being able to help.
So
And
blaming
wanting
it on,
to, but trying to blame other things. you know?
Yeah. So blame
But
it on a black star.
Like one of the earlier lines, or the first line, is I get home from work and you're still standing in your dress, or and you're still dressed in your nightgown.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've been like in your nightgown all day. You're not getting dressed for the day. You're just like, And then he says, well, what am I to do? Like, how can I help? But he can't.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting theme. He sounds like he's caused a lot of stress over trying to help someone and trying to figure this out, but he can't. I think Tom York has had a lot of, I don't know if he's a depressive or has anxiety, but I think he's got a lot of stuff going on. I know after OK Computer, like after the tour, he had a mental breakdown.
Really?
Before they did Kid A. So obviously he's experienced emotional stress of some sort. So maybe he's like trying to.
Maybe that's what that song's about.
Could be.
Yeah, could be.
It's for us to interpret and for him to tell, or him to not tell.
Or not tell, yeah.
Moving on to track number 11, which is called Sulk. I gave it 3.75 out of 5. I still like this song, one of my favorites.
Okay.
This is written and inspired by the Hungerford Massacre. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It was in the late 80s in England, and there was a guy who went on a shooting spree, killed 17, and injured about the same amount of people.
Wow.
And then killed himself. So no one really knows why. And they don't really say, like, in the song Sulk, he doesn't really address it, like, on the nose. Like, he doesn't say, this guy came and killed people.
Yeah.
But that's what inspired the song. Like, talking about depression, maybe you'll sulk, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting when they give that context. Moving on to the last song, which I already said the name of.
Yep.
Street Spirit, parentheses, Fade Out. I gave it 3.75 out of 5 also.
Yeah.
These last two songs are probably my least favorite on the album, even though I still like them. This is a slower, more melancholy song, and the lyrics seem to back it up. They seem really bleak and
Agreed.
like fading out, and there's a lot of imagery about death. A lot of imagery about death.
Really?
Yeah. But the very last line he says, and he says it 2 times, do you know what it is? Because it's hard to actually hear what he says, and he mumbles it. He says, immerse your soul in love. So it leaves you on a positive note. Like, life is inevitable, or life more moving towards death is inevitable. So immerse your soul in love.
Yeah.
YOLO.
YOLO,
That's
bro.
that's what Tom Yorkie is saying.
So, YOLO.
He's saying, oi, why don't you get some tea and crumpets and YOLO, governor? I don't think that's what he sounds like at all. In summary, this is a great album.
Yeah, agreed.
I did not dislike any songs. There are no skippers. You lent me the CD. I've had it in my car for the past 2 weeks, and I've enjoyed every song.
Wow. All right.
I am probably gonna burn myself a copy so I can keep it, or maybe I'll find it somewhere and
I mean,
buy it.
I
to support
think
the
I got
band.
that copy at the Great
Escape, yeah.
for like $6 or something like that.
So this is a good listen. I'm gonna try to keep listening to Radiohead. I'd like to listen to Kid A.
Yeah,
I've
no, so do I
previewed some
now,
stuff, but it's way different.
Even more different.
So different. Like
Yeah.
there's not really much in the way of guitars. There's a lot of drum pads and electronic stuff.
Interesting.
You might like it because there's a lot of like, I don't know, if, like modern classical inspirations, like
like minimalism and
like
whatnot?
Philip Glass, perhaps. Yeah.
Okay.
So check that out. I'd like to
Cool.
check it out because I don't know.
I'll probably
I'm
check
curious.
that out soon.
But great album, great recommendation.
Yeah,
man.
for sure. Nice.
Now that we've reached the midpoint, do we want to give a beer update?
Yep.
All right.
Beer update, beer update, beer update, beer update.
I'll let you update first.
Okay.
What do you think?
My beer, as it has gotten warmer, I think the flavors. Whoa, I just got a banana flavor. I don't even know if that's what's supposed to be in there.
Well, that's interesting.
As it's gotten warmer, it has just gotten better for me. Again, I'm having the Brewdog Juggernaut Imperial IPA.
Yeah. For me, the Surly Overrated. I'm not going to overrate it or underrate it. I'm just going to rate it. It's consistent.
Okay.
Nothing really has peaked out of the flavor profile. Nothing's dissipated. It's spot on to what I said before.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Nice.
I like consistency.
Very
It would
much
be a
so.
good thing if the flavor improved. It would be a bad thing if the flavor got worse. But it's
yeah,
spot on,
decreased,
and
yeah.
I quite like it still.
Very nice. Awesome.
All right, let's move on to your album review.
Sounds like a plan.
Hans.
So I'm reviewing the album Resolve by the band Lagwagon. And just a little bit of background about this album. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it is mostly... It seems like all the songs are dedicated to the passing of their drummer,
Derek.
How do you say his last name?
I can't remember off the top of my head. It's a strange looking name, maybe of Eastern European descent.
Derek
Plord,
maybe?
maybe Spanish. I have no idea.
But he had committed suicide in early 2005.
He was the drummer on Haas, and
Yeah.
that was actually he had drummed on one more album, I think, after Haas, and then he I don't know if he left the band or if they fired him. But they had a new drummer come in called Dave Ron. He's the one who drums on this album.
Yeah.
But Derek stayed with. He
hanging
still
out with
drummed.
Yeah.
He was still very very much friends with them, and he played on Joey Cape's other side project, Sad Astronaut.
Oh.
I don't know if you knew
that
that or not.
explains one of the song titles then.
Yes, very much so. Side note, I don't know if you've ever listened to the NoFX album called Wolves in Wolves Clothing, but they have a
Not
song
yet.
called Doornails, I think is what it's called, like Dead as a Doornail, and it's in reference to a lot of friends who have died from overdosing or suicide. I think it's suicide or overdose, whatever it is. But the whole first verse is dedicated to Derek.
Really?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like they reference Rifle, that song.
Yeah.
Check that out sometime. It's a really good song.
Yeah, I'll have to. So the whole album, I believe, is definitely viewed through the lens of kind of it being about Derek or for Derek. I believe, like I said before, I believe he committed suicide in early 2005, and then like maybe March, and then this album came out in 2005 in like December. So like, they wrote and recorded the whole album in a very quick time.
And they had a very long break after this album. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I think it was the next album was
almost
in
10
2010,
years,
right?
Yeah. Oh no, it was like 2014.
Yeah. That's
So almost
when,
10 years.
Hang came out.
Correct. Yeah.
And now they're going to be recording soon. You said?
I think at the end of the year they're supposed to go in the studio. We'll see.
That sounds pretty.
Fingers
awesome.
crossed.
Hopefully they do. That'd be awesome because I really like this song. It makes me want to listen to more
Lagwagon.
of Lagwagon. Yeah. For those of you who don't remember, Joey Cape is the lead singer of Lagwagon, and he kind of has a very interesting voice.
Really unique. It's hard to describe. I wouldn't say nasally.
It's not really nasally. He just like
It's so unique sounding.
kind of in the same way that Tom DeLonge pronounces things weird. Joey Cape kind of pronounces things weird. Not in the not. They don't pronounce things the same way. They just both pronounce things weirdly.
And his talking voice is actually a little similar to his singing. Like it does have that strange timbre and sound. It's just way deeper. He's got a really deep talking voice.
Yeah.
His range is really good.
Yep.
It's got a good range.
Anyway, so I would just say before I start with track number 1, just I'm viewing the whole album through that
lens.
That lens, yeah.
Dedicated to the drummer.
Dedicated to Derek Plord. I believe that's what it is. So the first song is called Heartbreaking Music. It's a amazing album opener, like super fast, and
spot on with skate punk.
Yeah, and I mean this song, the title kind of says it all. Like all of the songs that like they've written previously, and like all the songs on this album like aren't going to be the same without Derek.
Yeah,
is pretty much what this song's about.
I just really like that first line. I've already come to terms with bridges I have burned.
Yeah. And da-da-da-da-do.
Of course, it's click 2 3 heartbreaking music.
Yep. It's a great song.
Great song.
Good way to start off the album. I gave that 4 to 5.
Agreed.
On to track number 2, which I gave 5 out of 5 and recommended it.
Oh, good choice.
It's called Automatic.
It's an interesting sound.
Automatic.
If you would just go by like that guitar part, it almost sounds like do 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 do.
Yeah.
What's that song?
Something
Something from the movie Get Him to the Greek. I can't remember. It's something from one of those songs.
It's not the one song that I'm thinking of. I know that.
Well, let's just move on then. I'll show you later.
Anyway, and this song, the song called Automatic is, I'll just say one of the lyrics from it. Develop habits, automatic. So like Derek was a
substance abuser.
Substance abuser, yeah. And in this song, he talks a lot about just like normal things that people do every day, and kind of like develop habits. So like some of the lines are like brush your teeth, take a shower. People are driving like all the time and stuff like that. And essentially the idea behind this song, which is what I've realized kind of in my own life, and I assume a lot of people realize this in their own lives, is that at least for me, like I go to work and then I like get home and I have like a general routine that I do, and then at the end of the night I'm like, oh, like where did my day go? Like I feel like I could have done so much more with that. So I mean, I kind of think that this song is about that and trying to find purpose in everyday life. Because in part of the song he talks about how people who do get stuck in this proverbial rut or
habits,
they in general lose purpose in their life, even if maybe they feel like they still have purpose in what they're doing. Ultimately, purpose is lost.
Agreed. Good song.
So yeah, that's a great song, and I also really like the bridge. He says like the same lyrics in the bridge, but he just goes down an octave and does them very quiet, and everything gets really quiet. And then he comes back full voice before the chorus comes back again.
It's a good chorus.
But yeah, that song is so dope.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, on to track number 3, which is called Resolve.
The title track,
yeah.
Love title tracks.
I gave it 4 to 5, and it's my honorable mention for this album.
Good choice.
This album is, I believe, is just a song honoring Derek.
Yeah,
is basically what it is. And it seems like in the song, they're basically saying like how some of these songs just sound dumb without, like whenever you lose somebody who you played with for a while. And so they're gonna. Oh, actually, the last line is we probably could have resolved this song on a different chord.
You should have chosen another chord to resolve on.
Yeah, and then they resolve on like a
weird sounding chord.
Yeah.
So it's.
So I don't know if that ties into like how they were like, Derek, you should have, like, if only you would have resolved on a different chord instead of what you did.
Yeah.
But it's a good song though. And let's see, on to track number 4 called Virus. I gave it 3.5 out of 5. I liked it.
It's a good one, but yeah, it's not my favorite on the album.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Track number 5 is called Runs in the Family. and I gave it 3.5 out of 5. And it kind of reminds me of that Offspring song, Way Down the Line.
Oh, yeah?
It was on Ixnay and the Hombre, the one that I reviewed, about basically how history repeats itself, and how like all these things that you're born with, basically like hereditary traits and whatnot. It all runs in the family. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good song, but it also wasn't my favorite though. Track number 6 is called "The Contortionist."
Walk with the contortionist.
Yeah,
that's got the whole melody's really good.
yeah, this song is dope.
There's an acoustic version of this out there somewhere
Is there?
that's really good too. Worth checking out. I think it was like a
What is that?
single split with Tony Sly.
Oh, okay, that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Now on to track number 7, which is my next recommendation. I give it 5 out of 5, and it's called "Sad Astronaut."
Really good song.
Yeah, so this is in reference to what you were talking about earlier.
His other band called Sad Astronaut.
It was Joey Cape's other band?
Yes.
Okay, his other project. Okay.
That Derek drummed for until he passed.
It was called "Sad Astronaut." Okay.
And in fact, I can't remember my timetables correct right now, but I think they released their third album either right before or right after he passed. I can't remember.
Sad Astronaut did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really good album.
So that, with that in mind, that makes a lot of sense as to why they titled it "Sad Astronaut." Because the song's basically about just trying to deal with Derek's suicide, and basically saying like that they'll remember him always.
Starts off all acoustic like and whatnot, and then it gets real fast.
Yep, starts off slow, just acoustic guitar, and one thing about this song, the beginning of this song, it really showcases how Joey Cape writes melodies, and how they're kind of unique, kind of in the same way that Tony Sly would write melodies. Like they wrote kind of similar melodies.
Yeah,
not exactly the same, but in a similar fashion.
You can hear it and you say, "Oh, that's a Joey Cape melody," or that's
yep. So if you're looking to see what a Joey Cape melody is, listen to the beginning of this song.
Yeah.
Sad Astronaut. But again, I recommended that one. That on to track number 8 called "Rager." This is very fast, and this is the one song where he says, "Randall, Randall, Randall."
That's his real name. Did you know
Yeah.
that? Joey Cape is a bit of a pseudonym. His real name is Randall.
Is his last name still Cape?
I think his last name is still Cape.
Okay.
I can't remember. I think it might be, maybe it's like Randall Joseph Cape or something.
Okay.
While you're typing, I'll look it up on Wikipedia. Or while you're talking, I'll look it up on Wikipedia.
You say typing?
Yeah, I'm
because you were about to start typing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this song's super fast, and it's basically about how he shouldn't like let the guilt of like maybe I could have done more, or maybe someone could have done more.
Yeah.
Don't let that control him, and it's about accepting the fact that Derek is gone. So it's a really good song. It's really fast, and like there's some sweet drums at the beginning.
Yeah, there is.
Which
Dave
I'm guessing,
Ron is a really good drummer.
Really?
Yeah. I think he studied some jazz and all kind of classical stuff. So he's a phenomenal drummer.
That's pretty sweet. On to track number 9, which is called "The Worst." It's pretty good, and again, it's you could look at it and just look at it through the lens of what I had said earlier about what pretty much this whole album's about.
Agreed.
On to my last recommendation is track number 10. It's called "Creepy."
I wouldn't have guessed this as a recommendation, but that's a good choice too.
And it's basically a song about how he wanted Derek to be happy in life.
Yeah.
Like I think some of the lines are like, "I just wanted to see you wake up with a smile on your face," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought in the context of the whole album, I was like, "That's pretty dope."
Yeah.
Like,
Super dope.
Soup's dopes.
Dopes. Oh, dope soup.
Dope soup.
Dope soup.
That sounds like. What? I don't even know if that sounds good.
I don't know. I would try it. Can you imagine if you like walked into the grocery and here's Campbell's tomato soup, Campbell's chunky dope soup.
Just dope soup.
Yeah.
It would just be called dope soup. It would just like have a big label on it, and it would just say dope soup.
No brand, just dope soup.
That would be the flavor too.
Yeah, dope soup. What flavor? Dope soup. What brand? Dope soup. Who distributes this?
Dope soup.
Well,
Who makes it? Dope soup.
Dope soup. Is it good?
Who eats it?
Is it good? It's dope soup.
Who eats it? Dope dudes.
Dope dudes. Dope dudes like dope soup.
Oh man,
That sounds better than soup dope.
I think we have a starting of a company here, Steve. We should probably
Dope
start a soup company.
I don't even know how to make soup though.
Yeah, you do. You just get water,
Vegetables,
chicken broth, chicken stock, or vegetable stock or whatever.
I'd probably take chicken stock, a little bit of hot sauce. I would probably put a little bit of beef in there.
How about some
a little bit of ranch? A lot of cheddar cheese, and probably just leave it at that.
Oh, it's some broccoli.
Nope.
Yeah, broccoli.
Broccoli is not
good.
dope. I would
Broccoli
a lot
is
of
not
cheddar
dope.
cheese, some hot sauce, a little sriracha,
Sriracha.
a lot of beef, some pulled pork, maybe no barbecue sauce. I'd probably put some like orange peppers in there. You know, it would just be really good.
This
really dope.
This sounds like some nope soup.
Well, no. That was a good
You know what
comeback,
that?
and I don't know
you
what
know
to
what,
say.
You know what that joke wasn't?
No, it wasn't dope.
It was not infectious.
Oh, what's the name of the next song?
Infectious.
Track number 11.
Track number 11. I gave it 4 to 5. And again, it's also about the same thing the whole album is. In this song, there are a lot of like chromatic, not passing tones, but like neighboring tones that they do.
Yeah.
In the guitar lines. So,
They're actually, the two guitarists in the band are really good. This might not be the best. Well, there's some good stuff on this album, but it might not be the best album to exemplify their guitar playing skills.
Yeah.
They're really good.
I feel like this album was just more like just simple and straightforward.
Written in response for one reason, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, it seemed like it was just simple and straightforward. A little bit darker than their other albums. Or at least the other one that I've listened to. But I'm okay with that because I find that normally doesn't always mean deeper meaning, but in general.
Yeah.
People tend to write songs with a darker aspect to them if they're deeper emotionally.
I would agree.
Tend to, but not always.
Not always the case, but I agree.
Anyway, time to move on to the last song, called "Days of New."
Yeah,
I gave it 4 to 5, and it's a good song.
it is a good song.
It's kind of, I think it's a really good way to close the album.
I agree.
Um,
It's much more straightforward about the theme of the album than the rest of the songs.
yes, it is, because one of the lyrics in the song, he says, "Hey Derek, maybe somehow you can hear this, or maybe somehow like you're listening.
Yeah.
Maybe somehow you're listening to this album." And
He
like,
references that, yeah.
So it kind of seems that's very, again, like what you said, very straightforward.
Yeah.
Um,
The days are new.
yeah.
It's a really catchy chorus.
Yeah, it really is. I would say overall, this is a good album, and I think dare I say, I might like it better than Haas.
It's very different than Haas.
It is very, very different than Haas, but I think maybe I like it better.
Well, maybe you'll have to investigate
I'm not
some
sure.
more Lagwagon.
I'm gonna have to.
Oh, I think I like this one. Oh, I don't know if I like it better than OK. It's hard to say.
It's tough for me because they're so different.
I don't know if the Benz is better than OK Computer. I don't know. They're both super good.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to say.
They're both super dope.
Yeah, they are dope. They're dope soup.
Dope soup.
What the heck? Is somebody at the door?
I don't know. Let me get it. Oh, hi there, boys. I heard you talking about some type of soup.
Oh yeah, old man Rust. It's not prune soup. Don't worry. I know that.
gall darn it.
I know that you love the prune soup.
Well, boys, do you guys know the definition of a euphemism?
I think I do. What do you think, Jesse?
You know what, old man Rust? I think you might need to just not talk about what prune soup would be a euphemism for, okay?
Yeah, just.
Oh, all right. I guess there are probably some more younger ears, much younger than myself anyway, listening to this.
Now, old man Russ, you might have heard us say OK Computer, so what I recommend is that you go to your local library and just try to figure out how to work a computer. Okay?
Oh my, that sounds like a very difficult thing for a man of 2 million years old.
Well, you know how to get to the library. I know you know how to use the card catalog. I'm sure you've never heard of an electric card catalog.
Well, I did know Dewey. He was quite a nice man. He really helped me out with
You
all
mean
of my
as
books.
in the Dewey Decimal System?
Of course, boys.
What was his first name? Or was Dewey his first name?
Dewey was his first name, silly.
What was his last name?
Dewey Decimal.
His last name was Decimal? That's crazy.
Why, yes. Why do you think they called it the Dewey Decimal System?
Because there was numbers in decimals. It makes sense. But if his last name was Decimal, it makes way more sense now. That's great. Thank you, Old Man Rust. You learn something new every day.
I'm going to have some prune soup.
Old Man Rust, you take that prune soup and you put it in the thermos to go to the library, and you learn how to use a computer, Old Man Rust.
All right, boys, have fun with your poo-cast.
It's a podcast, and once you learn how to use a computer, you can listen.
Oh, wow.
Just go to either our website, brewsandtunespodcast.com, or look us up on any of your podcast listening sites, like Apple Podcasts or Stitcher. If SoundCloud,
hold on a second. What's a Webbler site?
just go to the library and figure it out, Old Man Rust. Jesse, do you have any words for Old Man Rust before he leaves?
Get out of here!
Yeah, what he said, Old Man Rust. Bye-bye.
All right then, boys.
Well, I can't say that I'm surprised that Old Man Rust made an appearance.
I am also not surprised.
But that's
That guy seems to always be around.
Yeah. Well, before we sign off, we got to recommend some albums for
We
us
also have
to
to do
listen to.
final reviews of these beers.
Oh, yes. Did anything change at all?
Not really. The only thing that changed is that I have less of it now.
Well, same here. But before we finish them, let's get some recommendations for next week.
Okay.
Or actually in 2 weeks, because next week we're going to do a one-off.
Yes.
And it's going to be a one-off of a band that we like a lot.
We like them a whole lot.
It's a band called The Swellers. I know you've heard us talk about them before.
Yep.
But we're going to review their last album before they broke up. It's called A Light Under Closed Doors.
The Light Under
The Light
Closed
Under...
Doors,
Whatever. I got my articles wrong.
Yep.
So we're going to review that, and then the week after that, we'll review these albums.
Yes,
Yep. What should I listen to, Jesse?
You should listen to the album Twin Fantasy by Car Seat Headrest.
What a strange-sounding name. A lot of nouns.
Yeah. What a strange sounding name. There's so many nouns in it.
There is. I'm going to have you listen to a less nouny band and album.
Less nouny band.
It's by the
More of a
phenomenal
proper noun band.
solo artist Ben Folds.
Oh, nice.
And it'll be his debut solo album, Rockin' the Suburbs.
Oh, okay.
Only one noun. Plural noun. Suburbs.
Suburbs.
Yeah. So, before we sign off, let's give the old hibbity-boo to skibbity motto slogan and sign off.
All right, sounds good.
Shibbity-boo-doo! Once again, my name is Steven Johnston.
And my name is Jesse Titus.
This has been American Brews and Tunes.
And it always will be!
Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American Brews and Tunes. Shibbity-beeby-da!